oh crap, what did I do? Can't believe I cut that out. I got to put that back in. Hey everyone, and welcome to today's video. I've got a small stack of back issues that I'm going to show you today. These come from an eclectic mix of sources. The first couple I got during a work trip, and then the balance of the books I picked up during a local show here in the Twin Cities. So let's go ahead and get right to it. Whenever I have to travel for work, I try to keep my eyes open both at my schedule and the geographic area I'm in to see, will I have time to get out and check out a local comic shop or two? And are there any local comic shops that I could check out while I'm on this trip? And during this work trip, I was in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and I was very fortunate that both of those things aligned. That A, I had some free time, and there were comic shops in the proximity of where I was working, so I was able to get out and hit two of those shops. I will tell you there were several more than what I was able to visit, but because of the timing of my visit, they were either closed for the day or they weren't open at all on that particular day. So if you're ever in Albuquerque, check the area to see what stores are there, because there were several that I could have hit up. The two that I hit up, I'll put links to their presence down below as I show you the books that I picked up from those. I only got one book at each shop, and that's primarily because if it was a local shop and I'd gone in just to check stuff out, a store I've been to regularly, I may not have gotten anything. But when I'm traveling, if I'm trying out a shop for the very first time, and who knows, maybe the only time I'll ever be in that store, I really try to find something that I can buy, even if it's something I would pass over in my local area. The first store is called Comic Warehouse, and the name alone was enough to catch my attention. And it was essentially a really strong back issue store. They did have new comics also, but they didn't have any kind of dollar bins. Actually, was that true? They may have had some discount bins, but it wasn't anything that I was looking for. And so I just focused on their regularly priced back issues. And like I said, I went through everything. It was a lot of stuff I commonly see at other places, so I wasn't going to buy anything. But then there was one issue that I came across that I said, it's more than I would like to pay for it, but it's an issue I really want. And again, I do want to support the business when I go there, especially when I'm traveling. The one comic I picked up is a variant cover, and I got it for the cover art. This is Original Sin number 8 of 8, and this is the Arthur Adams cover. He did a series of connecting covers for all 8 issues of this limited series. I didn't know they existed when I first collected these. Didn't get them new. I picked this up as a back issue event series in the dollar bin. So I've read it and have all the standard covers. But when I found out that Arthur Adams had done a series of variants that were also connecting, I definitely added those to my wish list. And now, so far over the last several years, I've picked up all but 2 of them. And so when I was at Comic Warehouse and I saw they had issue 8, that's one of the 2 issues that I was missing. And so definitely decided to go ahead and pick that up. It was $4.50. So, really, I was still paying less than cover price. So anytime you can do that, that's still a discount. But now I only have one more issue to find with his art. And if and when I find that, you can be sure I'll show it here on the channel. And then also I can maybe string them all out together and show you the full connecting art cover, because I think each one is just different characters that just make a big, long, wide panoramic view. But very fun to find that, and thanks to Comic Warehouse for having that one. And I had some cool conversation with the manager / owner. I don't recall if he was the owner or the manager, but that was a good time there. So if you're in Albuquerque, check out Comic Warehouse. The second store I went to was called Astro Zombies, and the name in this store too was enough to hook me. Really cool art on the outside of the building, just murals done in really cool colors and things. Love the name of the store. You go in, and this store is actually kind of like half comic book and pop culture toys and collectibles on one side, but they have a good section of vinyl as well. So kind of an adjacent hobby. You've got comics, you got toys, and then you got the record collectors. And so I checked out the whole store. They had cool wall books way up high. They had their regularly priced back issues. Again, no dollar bin section, and that's primarily what I'm looking for when I'm traveling. But again, I'm on a work trip, so I'm going to look in the regularly priced back issue bins just to see what I can find. And in this store also just came away with one book. They did happen to be running a deal at the time where all of their back issues were half off. And I picked up just one. This issue allowed me to complete a volume that I've been working on. This is Avengers. I don't know what volume this is. 7, 8, something like that. Not the current run of Avengers. This is the previous run where Jason Aaron did all of the writing. But I had started collecting that one new and then dropped off and just was picking it up in the dollar bins when I could find it. And I chipped away at it slowly but surely over the 66 issues of that volume, plus the Avengers Forever, which tied into that. There was another 15 issue series, but been piecing that together and finally got down to where I just needed one issue and they had it. I don't see it very often. It is issue number 35 and is part of this light Age of Khonshu story. So it's a Moon Knight story. And it was half price. So normally it was $4.99. So I got that for $2.50. So well below cover price. Very good deal. And again, it's a small thing, but like to be able to support Astro Zombies. And oh, they stamped the backing board. So I can show you their little business information there. So again, if you're ever in the Albuquerque area, check out Astro Zombies, but don't stop with Astro Zombies and Comic Warehouse. Use your Google Maps or Comic Shop Finder, whatever you use to find those local shops. There are several things around that are kind of directly comic shops or kind of comic adjacent where you might be able to find some cool things. And if you do, let me know down in the comments if you've been to either one of those stores or others in Albuquerque, and let us know the kinds of things that you've been finding in that area. All right, now the balance of the books, which is most of them because I only showed you 2 comics so far, these all come from a local comic shop that has become kind of a staple here in the Twin Cities. It's hosted by a Facebook group called the Minnesota Comic Exchange, and they do a handful of shows throughout the year, always free to get into, and a couple dozen vendors at least, plus artists and other creators and toy sellers and all kinds of things that you can get there. It's actually hosted in a mall, which is kind of cool because you got a lot more life and things going on around you just besides the comic book show. There's even a cafe there where it always seems to be busy on a Saturday morning when we're there for the comic book show. But it's a good time. Great time to catch up with friends and fellow collectors and the dealers that I know. So that was a good time. I did spend a fair amount of time talking to people this time, more so even than diving in the dollar bins. But that doesn't mean I didn't come home with some cool deals. All of these, I believe, came from one seller, and it's a name you've heard on my channel many times. It's the brothers Grin. I'll put a link to their online presence down below in case you want to check them out. But great couple of guys, always have good deals, and today was no exception at this sale. You may remember, if you've been watching my recent videos, that I've been getting lucky with the brothers Grin, finding Iron Man issues that are below issue number 100, which is not something historically that I've been trying to collect, but the cover art between the drawing, the colors, the era of the comics, I just love everything about it. So it's really more of an art buy for me. I do love the character Iron Man, but I've never read his earlier stuff. So will I like them or not? Who knows? For now, it's just fun to hunt down and pick up these early Bronze Age issues from Shellhead here. So I picked up like 7 or 8 issues from that earlier part of the Iron Man run, starting here with issue number 64. Was this like 1973-ish, I think, is when this was. And then issue number 82 next. And when I get this era, I do check for the Marvel value stamps to see whether or not they're in there. Because typically, if it's a $1 book or less, not surprising when that Marvel value stamp gets cut out. Every once in a while, I get lucky and the Marvel value stamp is included. Well, this one now gives me kind of a third category of books to find. I've never seen this before, but I thought it was worth showing you. This is an issue that should have a Marvel value stamp, and the Marvel value stamp is what number is that? Number 2, but it says Dracula, and I'll show you, first of all, There's the value stamp. I don't know how well this comes up on the video though, but interestingly, if you look on the back of this, it's kind of like a piece of like sticker tape there on the back. Well, what it appears someone did was they actually cut out the value stamp. It is not attached. You see that? It is completely cut out, and then it's been placed back in place and taped in so that it's held there. I have no idea how this happened. I'm guessing maybe that the person who had this and decided to cut out the value stamp did so, but maybe kept the value stamp just here in the comic or in the bag or something like that. And so it was never separated from the issue itself. And then maybe that person had instant regret, or maybe it was somebody who had the comic after them, but somebody along the way decided to try to reattach that value stamp as best they could. And yeah, so I'm sure that's a good part of the reason why it is in the dollar bin as well. It's been cut up, but I'm not buying these for high value. I'm buying these because I like the art and it's just a cool era of Marvel Comics that I like. But I just thought that was a fun oddity to point out to you, because I've never seen somebody cut out the Marvel stamp and then that person or someone else try to tape it back in. Like, oh crap, what did I do? Can't believe I cut that out. I got to put that back in. Continuing with Iron Man though, one more issue, sub 100. This is issue number 99. And this is just a price that somebody had on there at some point. It's just a card that's in there. It's not stuck to the book or anything. And then a few more right around that issue 100, starting here with 102, 104. I was just at a sale today and almost bought this again. Thankfully, I use CLZ and it tells me when I'm at risk of buying a duplicate. So I did not double buy this book. So there's 104. And really nice to know too, now that I see this one, this is in better condition than the copy that I saw at the sale today. So really glad that I didn't pick that other one up. And then here is number 105, 106, and lastly, 109. So really good progress again on this Bronze Age era of Iron Man, picking up several of those issues now for $1 or less. A few more issues to show you here, four actually. One is a Transformers book, my favorite comic to collect overall and what got me started in collecting to begin with. This is a variant cover from the IDW ongoing series that I didn't have. This is Transformers number 31. This is the B cover with Ironhide there. And then I love the series Marvel Age, you know, the source for Marvel Comics news before we had the internet. I picked up one issue from that series. This is Marvel Age number 37. Looks like they're kicking off the 25th anniversary. So this puts that around 1986 for that. And speaking of the Marvel 25th anniversary, I found one more 25th anniversary border cover that I did not have. I have most of them, but I'm getting down to where it's really the oddballs that I don't expect to find in the dollar bin that I'm missing. So things like Muppet Babies, Care Bears, Ewoks, things like that, the cartoony books that were probably more regularly purchased by kids to begin with. And so maybe a lot of those didn't even survive. And the ones that did and are in decent condition, you're not going to find those in the dollar bins. But I will continue to hunt, or at least keep my eyes peeled for those. This is not one of those super rare ones, but still one that I didn't have. This is Cloak and Dagger number 9. And it's just a fun theme of collecting that I like to go for. I don't even remember how I started collecting those. It's probably because I was picking up some of these issues as part of runs that I was trying to complete, like X Factor, for example. And did Uncanny do one? I don't know if they did, but some of the mutant titles had these. New Mutants definitely did. Thor, for example, and others. But now, anytime I see them, if I find one that I don't have, I go ahead and grab it. And now we've come down to the final book I want to show you. And this was my favorite find of the sale, because, or the show, I should say, because this Bronze Age issue allowed me to complete a run that I've been working on for several years. And I've just patience paid off, and I continued to look and wait and wasn't in any hurry. And now I finally found this last issue. This is part of a 15 issue series featuring a character in her first solo title, where her name was the title. And maybe you've guessed it already, maybe not. Let me just show you. This is Red Sonja, issue number 9. That is the last issue that I needed to complete this 15 issue volume. And I think I showed you in a recent video that I found the final issue. Oh yeah, it was on my my vacation back to the Jersey Shore this summer, where I picked up Marvel Feature Red Sonja. Was that issue number 1 from that volume? I got it for like $5. But that was a 7-issue run. Her first, what do they call it? That's like that was her first solo series, but it still was Marvel Feature, starring Red Sonja. This is the first time it was just Red Sonja, no other top billing above her. So this one ran for 15 issues, and now I've completed both of those. So that's a really fun achievement to be able to celebrate now, to have all of those. And this is in really nice condition too. Let me pull this out here. It's here's the back. You can see nice, very clean. The pages even are, if I can show you this. Whoop. Really nice condition pages on there. It feels, relatively newish. It doesn't feel like it's been read 100 times where it's all kind of loose and everything. But yeah, really, really happy to have found this final issue that I haven't seen. And now I've got the complete Marvel Feature and the complete Red Sonja. Now, the cool thing about this book was the price on this one. This had a price of $3 on it, still from the Brothers Grin. But one of the great things about the Brothers Grin is that they are always throwing around deals. So when you go to check out, usually I'll say, like, I've got this many of this price book, this many of this price book, and the total is that, and maybe they double check that. But whatever the total comes out to be, it's not uncommon for them to just knock it down a couple bucks, maybe to a round number, something like that. If you're at 12, they knock it down to 10 or something, but knocking off a couple bucks here or there. Well, because they did that for me at this sale, then instead of paying $3 for this, they'd knocked off $2 off my total. So really, it's like I only paid $1 for this book. So that's even better now. I completed the series. I got a discount. It's like it's $1 book. And now I think the most I paid for any of the issues from either of those two volumes was $5. Little asterisk footnote on that one. The only reason I'm able to make that claim is because one of the viewers out there, was so kind a while back to gift me a copy of Red Sonja number 1. And that would never be a book I would expect to find in the dollar bins or even for $5, but completely flattered and blown away by that generosity, and still grateful for it. And so that book aside, I'll have to say, all the others I got pretty cheap. So I will tell you, if you're hunting for a particular series and you want to take your time and see if you can piece that together on the cheap, well, be patient, keep hunting, because over time, you'd be surprised how many things you start to find in the $1, $2, $3 bins. They don't all have to be really spendy keys or full high-priced books. So fun to hunt, fun to see what you can find, and to see that patience pay off. So there you have it. Oh, that's not going to be very fun to see. I was going to try to show you a spread of all the books, but I'm showing you the back as well. Here we go. Here's a little fanned out view. So a couple books from a work trip, most of the books from a Marvel Comic Exchange show. With that, I'm going to say that's going to do it for me, and that's going to wrap it up for this back issue haul. Now, I do hope you saw something that you liked, and if you did, please give the video a thumbs up. And if you want to see more content like this, dollar hauls, 50-cent hauls, really anytime I find good books for great prices, then hit that subscribe and ring the bell for notifications so you'll know the next time I upload a video. Now, if you're not quite ready for the YouTube fun to stop, I have hand-selected a couple videos here for you to check out. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.